When I first stepped into the building, the silence pressed down on me like a tangible weight. The old boarding school, perched near the western coast of Ireland, had been abandoned for decades, and now the city council had decided to restore it as a cultural heritage site. During the day, construction crews worked, but at night I was alone, responsible for the cleaning on the night shift. I learned the routine quickly: dusting the rooms, sweeping the corridors, wiping the windows, and making sure every corner was accounted for. But this building was different. The silence felt alive, pressing against me. Every step I took echoed off the stone floors, as if the house itself were breathing. On the third night, I noticed the door at the end of the upper corridor. It was thick, dark wood with a faded plaque, "Mirror Room." The door was locked, and there was no key. Yet each night, a footprint appeared in the dust along the bottom of the door. Small, bare, childlike. It moved slightly forward each night, as if someone were stepping silently just beyond the threshold. I tried to find rational explanations: wind, rodents, a small leak, but the prints were always there, always the same. That night, I mustered my courage and approached the door. My hand touched the handle. It was cold, and the moment I did, a draft blew from inside, sharp enough to take my breath away. The next day, I researched the school's history. The records revealed that the Mirror Room had been sealed for decades due to a tragedy. In 1965, a young girl had been found dead inside. No one was held responsible, and the cause of her death was never explained. The only note from those who discovered her was that there was a presence in the room, though nothing could be seen. After that night, the footprints never left. On the fifth night, I pushed my cleaning cart to the corridor and forced the door open. Inside, the room was small, but mirrors covered every surface: the walls, the ceiling, even the floor. At first, it seemed empty, until a figure appeared within the reflections. A child, perhaps 10 years old, brown hair, small hands brushing against the glass. But there was no one in the room. My heart raced. The figure did not move toward me. It simply existed. I watched silently for what felt like minutes, and then realized that the child had been trapped in the room, using the mirrors as a barrier, a way to stay tethered to this world. Its purpose was clear: to protect something in the room. That something was a small wooden box tucked in the corner. The child remained behind the mirrors, guarding it, as if daring me to touch it. The most terrifying thing isn't a blow or a scream. It's when the presence before you assesses your intent and reacts accordingly. I reached for the box, and the figure multiplied, its reflection appearing in every mirror. Each one looked at me, hands raised, silent but forceful. When my fingers touched the box, the mirrors shivered, light bending but did not break. My heart pounded. I opened the box. Inside was an old diary, written by the girl who had died in 1965. Reading it, I understood that she had remained in the room after her death to protect her name and her secrets. At that moment, the figure stepped forward. Its face became clearer, sorrowful but not angry. As I held the diary, the room's temperature shifted. Breathing became easier. The child retreated back into the mirrors, as if saying, "It's done." And then slowly, it disappeared. My legs shook, my chest heaved, but a tangible sense of relief filled the room. The next morning, I closed the door and left the building. I now understood that if I ever encountered the child again, I knew what awaited me. It would guard the room through the mirrors, and I would carry the secret with me. At night, after finishing my shift, I no longer saw footprints at the threshold. Yet occasionally, a flicker in the glass or a movement in a reflection reminded me that the mirror room was still there, silent, dark, and inevitable. The true terror of the room was not its presence, but the responsibility and secret it left behind. And I knew in my bones that the secret would stay with me forever. Every morning, before heading to my shift, I found myself glancing at the building, almost instinctively. I couldn't see what lay behind that door, but my eyes searched for any movement at its threshold. Sometimes it was just a shadow, other times a faint glimmer in the mirrors. Each time my heart raced, my breath caught, and my steps slowed. The footprints were gone, but I could still feel its presence, the room silently watching my every move. Even during my night shifts, cleaning the empty halls, I avoided the mirrors. Every reflection felt like a warning, a reminder that the secret of the room walked with me. In the quiet of the night, when my flashlight beam cut across the walls, I heard faint rustlings. Not wind, not a small animal, only the building itself seemed to breathe. And then, in one mirror, the smallest flicker of the child's silhouette. Never making eye contact, just a subtle indication that it was still there. My body would shiver with the memory of its presence. Walking home under the dim city lights, the silhouette of the building never left my mind. Every window, every shadowed corner reminded me of the mirror room. The secret was not just within the room anymore. It was inside me. When I closed my eyes, I thought I could hear that faint whisper again. No words, just the tone. Unintelligible but rhythmic, like the sound I had heard in the room. Holding my breath, for a moment it merged with the silence of the building, and fear seeped in slowly. Over the weeks, I realized the secret was not just a burden, but a constant awareness. I watched mirrors carefully now, noticing every tiny detail, but awareness brought no comfort, only vigilance and tension. The presence of the child was no longer physical. It had become a mental weight, quiet, cold, inevitable, and always with me. Sometimes, walking through the dark streets after my shift, shadows shifted for a fleeting moment, and footsteps echoed in the stone pavement. I could not tell if they were my own or someone else's. Each time I looked at a mirror, even briefly, the room, the secret, and the child's presence reminded me it was still there. And I knew, in every bone and nerve, that this feeling would never leave. The mirror room remained, silent, dark, and unavoidable. And I had become its keeper, carrying the weight of its secret forever.